It's your boy J.H. Gibbons here.
And we'll see.
And welcome to another episode of the Chromas Podcast, episode 118. I can't even, I don't know how to count anymore. I think I have 8 fingers up right here if you're watching. But if you're listening, let's start off there because I want you to do something. I want you to get really, really close to your phone or your radio, whatever you're listening to. It's going to be a great episode, especially if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or Spotify, any of those platforms. You can actually hear us. We thank you for joining us again. If you are watching us, our beautiful smiling faces, I needed to do one thing and one thing only, and I need you to listen. I need you to pay attention because there are these 3 things that I'm gonna ask you to do, both at the beginning and at the end of this podcast. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to hit that subscribe button. I need you to hit that notification bell. The next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed and you're looking for an episode, something to help you get through the week, something that's full of actionable gems that you can act on today, you'll find the latest episode of the Chromas Podcast. And most of all, we'll see.
It's free to do so. So why not take advantage of it? Why not be so kind to give back to the universe that has given so much to you? You can start here, as Jay said, by liking our content, subscribing to it, turning on your notification bell. I'm going to add on a couple more things. Could you be sure to share it as well? Each one, teach one is our motto. And comment below. If you find any part of this conversation to be fascinating, you got any takes, inputs of your own, this is the place and time to do so, where you're welcome to do it, and we'll pick up that episode and the conversation to keep it going. So please be sure to do those things, guys, and get ready to enjoy yourself.
Facts. We'll see. What a week it has been, man. Episode 117, if you guys didn't get a chance to listen to it, you can pause this right now. You can go to the next video next to this one right here. Or if you're listening, you could just swipe down and you'll see episode 117 where we were able to reflect on entrepreneurship. So anybody out there who's going through building a business, starting a business, running a business, whatever phase you're in, we all know this is difficult. We all know that we are in this for the long haul because there's nothing else in this world that we would rather do than build something to help people, to help save lives, to help change lives and affect the world in such a positive way. That's what we're here for. We are all creators and we're all in this together. So in terms of actionable items, we'll see from last week, based on the reflections that we've done. As you know, we are getting started to go back into our meetings that we've had in the past, our weekly meetings that help to give birth to what a Chromas is today, which is something we really wanted to bring back in order to deliver the best content and the best value for all of our listeners. So we're excited to announce that. We're going to be doing so many great things for the rest of this year. We're already in April, guys. I mean, summer's right around the corner. Get ready for a summer series that's coming up. Get ready for the latest line on the Chromas Fitness website. All the summer gear that you can imagine, duffel bags, clothes, swimsuits, anything underneath the sun that you can wear, literally underneath the sun. When you're laying on the beach, when you're laying in the pool, when you're laying on the back deck and you're looking up to the sky, just praying to God that your dreams come true. Make sure you're doing it with a Chromas gear sitting right next to you, man.
Yeah, you'll look so cool with it. I mean, who doesn't like the type of colors that we have for our brand? I mean, ideally you see gold, black, and silver, but we have so many more in different attires, various colors that you may look damn good in, if I may say so myself. So go give us a try, guys. We're gonna be making sure to share where you can find us at theachromasstore.com. We'll be glad to have you there. We got this hot item that is just something that people really, really wanted in high demand. We got that back in stock, which is our duffel bags. Man, listen, it goes really quick. So please be one person that's going to make sure you get your hands on a copy of that.
Yep.
To carry your stuff in, carry everything that Jay mentioned with you. If you're headed to the beach, to the back of your house, if you're just on a stroll in about town, even if you find yourself as a person well-versed in travel, it's a perfect part of your artillery to take with you. You look so good and stylish in doing so. So please be sure to do those things, guys. Check out, we got all types of gear there for you, all types of merch, discounts galore. So take advantage of it. Support us, Black-owned business, and give us some love, man. And let us know when you do so we can be sure to shout you out as well.
Imagine that, right? A store, a website, a brand, a podcast, Black-owned, and will allow you to showcase your own self in the gear that you're wearing. All you got to do is let us know the gear, put it on, take a picture, and we'll post it. Imagine that. There's no other company in the world that will do that to people who purchase this gear and who invest in themselves knowing that they matter. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to really hone in and just go wild, man. It's a crazy life. I know we're all living in it. I'm preaching to the choir when I say that. So let's assure that we're here for each other, that we continue to support each other, and we continue to build this great community that we've been building over the past 2+ years now. Man, it's this episode. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll see, because we could take it in so many different ways, man. But when we're talking about enhancing our self-worth, I think it's important to understand what that actually looks like and what that isn't, right? I think because of the birth of social media over the past 2 decades now, anybody who has a phone, anybody who has internet access, Wi-Fi connection, whatever, most likely you have had access to the internet, right? And a lot of us, of course, have social media profiles on various different platforms. And it's not to necessarily count or call out those platforms, but it's important that we understand that we should not tie our self-worth to what goes on social media. Your self-worth is worth way more than likes, way more than shares, than any sort of form of engagement that you can collect. So when we're on these websites and we decide that we want to use these different filters and put a version of ourselves out into the universe, out into the ether, that isn't necessarily ourselves because we are trying to fit in to something that does not belong to us, this always ends up hurting us in the long run. We'll see. As you know, we're all on social media, right? Both of us are. I was on YouTube earlier this week and I was watching a video. One of my favorite YouTubers, I'm forgetting his name right now, but I think it's like Sunny V2. That might be their profile. And a lot of the videos that he's created is based on either former YouTubers or celebrities who had hit it big really, really quickly. And the way that they did it, the way that they got the fame and the accolades and the fortune that they did so quickly was because they were following a specific trend. So a lot of these YouTubers and just in general on social media, you will know now that if you were to hop on a trending topic or some sort of viral dance or something, that is something that you will then be tied to for the remainder of your social media life, right? So a lot of these guys may go from gaming, they may go to doing pranks, they may go to doing challenges, and all of this, there is no person for the audience to attach to. It's just a lot of intense content that does not necessarily have a soul, right? So what happens when these trends start going away? And let's say, for example, you were on a particular trend that has lasted for several months. So now what you're doing is you're building in and you're pulling in a certain audience that is looking and engaging with that particular content for that time. So what happens when that gaming audience no longer wants to see you do these internet challenges, right? You then lose those followers that you got from the gaming side. And then on the other side of that, when you're doing these challenges, that other audience that you are putting yourself in front of is just not going to rock with you because they understand why you're here. The fact that they don't know you from the past or from any other thing that you've done before is because you're hopping onto different things. So as you're doing this, what happens is that eventually you get called out from the internet community, from social media, from other YouTubers, from other content creators on what you're doing. From there, you get lost. You don't understand exactly where you're going to go next because there is no other trend that'll help you elevate yourself anymore because you've been found out. You don't have a particular brand that you've been pushing. You've just been going with all of these trends. So yes, on the front end, you do get a lot of engagement. You get a lot of likes. You get a lot of notoriety. But after a while, after a very, very short while in some cases, it all goes to nothing. And what you're left with is what you started with, and that's yourself. So when it comes to understanding what that looks like and how you can actually enhance your self-worth without it being tied to something that you know is not for you and has nothing to do with you, it's important that first you work to recognize yourself. And what that really means is understanding who you are, understanding why you're here, understanding what exactly you can do in this society to make it a better place. I personally believe we'll see that that is a very important aspect of being humans on this planet. To be as intelligent as we are, even though we do dumb things, we are an intelligent species. So I believe for us in this life, this very short life that we have, this very unpredictable life that we have, we should be spending it trying to understand how we can help other people, how we can uplift our community and other communities. And to start off with that, it's important to first recognize how you can work on yourself, finding out who exactly you are and accepting who you are once you find that out. And we'll see. I'd want to turn it over to you here before I hop into other ones and really try to understand exactly what that means to accept yourself, to really understand who you are, and to live that truth. What does that look like?
Well, for starters, it's a level of accountability with progressive intentionality. Like it takes a lot of holding yourself of a higher standard, looking in that mirror and not finding fault in yourself, but being willing to grow through your experiences to maintain your individuality or therefore learn it because maybe you're trying to figure that out. I think with social media, um, you know, the pros and the cons of it is that we've become too heavily relying in its ability to distract us from our day-to-day lives. See, like on social media, you can create the identity of whomever you choose to be. It really is the modern day avatar of, you know, that sort of approach with technology to allow you to get away from the troubles of your world. To the point that most people view it as a necessity when it's really not. Because not that long ago, folks, we walked around, we didn't have phones on us. We really didn't. This is something that's still new. You had pay phones. Hell, you had pages. You know what I'm saying? Where you beep someone to get through to them. How often do you walk around and you just kind of look and everyone is just locked and glued in on the distraction of, working on yourself? I feel as though it's been detrimental to the human development. I feel like we have become emotionally stunted in our development within this generation. It shows, and not just this one, but all. Honestly, that's engraved into social media and has put it on the forefront and put it on the pedestal. And ultimately, that is a good dictation as to why people feel so self-absorbed and to hide behind these alter identities, if you will, rather than just be their general self. Because a lot of times we're not happy with who we are when we look in the mirror. You can look in the mirror and find the most ugliest truth that you don't want to deal with. The type of ugly truth, the type of pain where you're looking at yourself and the tears are just coming down and you can't even utter out a word of confidence to let yourself know it's going to be okay, because we rely on it from something or someone else to tell us rather than pick ourselves up. And a part of that goes into our ability to rely on something that's not real. It's not a necessity of your reality. It really isn't. I mean, again, it has its perks and its pluses where you meet some really cool, dope individuals. You keep some relationships. You build networks. You develop them. That's, I believe, is part of the intention of what it was created for. To be ambitious, to allow people to thrive outside of their pond. But we've turned this into something so ugly, and we are here in a time where I feel as though we stress what mental health awareness is at an all-time high in a way we haven't, but at the same time, we're not focusing on one self and accountability to say it starts with you. And if you know that you aren't your best self, if you know you have an issue with being feeling accepted and you don't feel that in yourself, then what do we do there? Like, how do we address that? Where do we start in that ways? And a lot of people would want to brush that off because it's not popular. No one wants to sit there. Some people, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to be bothered with other people's problems. You know, the arrogance of feeling like, well, that ain't me, that's them. When you're a part of it too, and you're a truth, you know, none of us are perfect. We all have our flaws and our insecurities in our own way, but I commend those who are willing to challenge that and hold yourself accountable for where you are with it and what are you doing to try to work on that, right? So that you don't maintain those feelings or those thoughts about yourself for the rest of your life that may not be as positive. But how are you going to implement the structure and changes that you need to make so that you feel better about you? Not because of what someone else told you or because you had 1,000 likes or you had all the comments in the world or you had, you know, all of the fluffers, because that's what they are. Because these people, these things, a lot of times they don't really care about you, man. They don't. Yeah, you know, you're here today, you could be gone the next. But you know, sometimes you gotta look yourself in the flower and show the mirror the flowers that you have for you. You appreciate yourself, and you know, ultimately, in doing that, you know, you are being intentional about how you're handling some of your what you feel to be your shortcomings, because some of what you consider to be your shortcomings is a blessing to others. And a lot of times, you know, even speaking on self-worth, you know, I'll give you a quick little story. Jay and I, we haven't had a chance to catch up, but this is something that recently happened.
Yeah.
I was dealing with some things like everyone else, and I was having my rough patch this past week. And I had that moment where I felt like, damn, you know, I give so much to so many people, and I just kind of, it'd be nice to just get my flowers while I'm here in some way. Like sometimes it don't always feel like that. We have those moments. And I had to have a talk with myself to reevaluate what I'm doing to work on that. And I, you know, was able to come up with some things of how I can address some of those shortcomings that I felt in the moment.
Sure.
And, you know, I had to talk with my mom. My mom reached out coincidentally just to give me my flowers, just to talk to her about how she commended me, how I am with my children, and you know, just me being an inspiration for like things that I deal with in my life that I don't even discuss, like everyone else, because everyone else has their journey, have their story. And then, you know, another dope thing that happened was I don't really go on Facebook as often, or let alone Messenger, but I ended up, for some reason, I went by, I saw that I had a missed message from someone. Um, this person I probably haven't spoken to for maybe like 30 plus years.
Wow.
This person happened to actually be my first legit childhood friend, like day one sandbox from like kindergarten, pre-kindergarten stuff.
Wow.
And he reached out to me, man, to just tell me that part in our lives, you know, he'd been watching because we lost contact, and then like, you know, we recently got in contact not too maybe like a year or so ago on Facebook. But you know, he just had been paying attention, just watching, you know, just me as a person, and just like, you know, you seem to be just as you were then, you know, you're just a good being, a good soul, man. And those pivotal years of my life, you know, that we were friends, you know, you made such a huge impact in it, man. And you know, he was dealing with some things himself, but he was just wanted to reach out to let me know the difference I made in his life. And like he said, to give me my flowers while I'm here. And you know, divine intervention is a big thing, but sometimes we undermine our own self-worth because we don't think we're enough, you know, or sometimes this is a tough part of the truth. Some of the people that we wish would appreciate us the way we feel like we deserve, because we wanted to come from them, we're not going to get. Because maybe sometimes those people, they're not in the truth for their own to recognize the value of those who love on them unconditionally and give them that nourishment, because they don't know how to give that out. And that's their journey, not yours. So don't intertwine the two for your own growth. And in that moment, you know, I just, you know, I responded back in kind and, you know, rekindling a friendship, from that many years ago, because he made a difference in my life too, and I wanted to make sure he knew. But the fact that when it was reached out to, it was like, we both thought the same thing, but a lot of times we don't express that to people because
Mm,
fear of our own, you know, abilities to feel like, well, maybe that person might think I'm crazy, or, maybe I wasn't cool enough. I wasn't this, I wasn't that. But like, ultimately, you don't know the difference that your worth and value in somebody else's life makes
mm,
until you learn your worth first. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give in. Don't throw in the towel. Take a break. Step away from social media and the hoopla of the propaganda that's put out here for us to see, and learn a little bit about yourself, man. Stop depending on people to love you the way you feel you need to be loved. Love yourself first. And I promise you, everyone that's around you, that's for you, will be there because they choose to be. Because in life, people are where they choose to be. It's a lesson I learned so many ways, and I'm thankful for it. So, what do you choose to be today? Where do you choose to go? Who do you choose to invest into the most? I hope you choose you, because you're so damn worth it. And if you don't believe you matter, how can I believe in for you? Lead by example. Best way to do it is to show that love in yourself. Go exercise, not because somebody's telling you to do it, not because somebody's trying to push you, motivate you to do it, because you deserve it,
mm.
because you deserve to feel the best you've ever felt about yourself in your life for you. Uh, Go aspire to try to do something that you didn't think you could do, because maybe you were told you couldn't do it, but mostly you were told that by yourself. You've already capped yourself. Remove that cap and just go live your life, man. Fruitfully,
Mm.
intelligently, but live. Don't be trapped by the hoopla of social media. Rid yourself of that, and I promise you, if you take a look inward, the true essence of self-worth and self-love will start to manifest itself, and the best you is yet to come, Jay.
Mm. That's powerful, man. There's so many different gems in there, and I thank you for sharing that personal story about what you've went through, about Ma reaching out and your childhood friend, your pre-kindergarten, your Head Start friend.
Day
That
one,
reached
bro,
out to you.
sandbox.
That's
It was a
wild.
sandbox, and it was just it was dope, man. Shout out to you, Nick. I know you be watching, and I'll be hitting you up, brother. But appreciate you for that, man. And
That's
just want to
dope.
give you flowers back too.
That's dope. And I think a lot of the times, especially when it comes to the business side of Acromis, sometimes we forget about the personal side. Because of course in business in general, you're looking to generate revenue and profit, but all of those things pale in comparison to how it feels to know that you are helping somebody. Like it is truly a different feeling. And I'm grateful for Nick. I'm grateful for Mom. I'm grateful for anybody who has interacted in any sort of way, shape, or form with what we do, because that is more appreciative than you guys will ever know, honestly. We do this for that. We do this for you because we know what it is like to be in the stage that you might be in now. And we also know what the other side feels like. So we want you to feel that other side all the time, constantly. And yes, we're always putting in work. We're always on this journey. We're always growing. But that's the beautiful part of it, is that we are always going to continue to improve. We're always going to continue to improve ourselves and better ourselves as we go through this life. And this journey just does not end until you tell it to end. So continue to grow, continue to build, and eventually you will get to where you need to be. And when it comes to social media, as we'll see said, just take a break. I mean, we always talk about action on the Acromas podcast. Like next week, this upcoming week, whenever, just make it your business to stay off social media for a little while, right? If you can't completely log off because your job might be tied to it, you might be a freelancer and you're a social media manager or marketer. Kudos to you for doing that. But there's so much more in life we'll see than just what exists on social media. And it's tough now to remember the time. And there are people that are alive now that don't even know the time before we had social media. And that's crazy because they are now active on a lot of the platforms that we're active on ourselves. So it's an interesting time because they I really hope that they do not miss out on a valuable lesson of life when it came to understanding who you are, when it came to building relationships the right way, that's in person, or you know what I'm saying, on a corded phone. There was no FaceTime. There was just sitting down next to the receiver while you're on the phone talking to whoever. It was just a different vibe, and I don't want to sound like an old man here, but it was different, right? It was just a different feel, and I want you guys to understand that you don't need to tie your self-worth to anything outside of your own self. Like the beauty of what we do when it's personal development or self-help or self-love, that self is in it, right? It's right there for you. Self. You are your own self. Only you can do that work. All we can do is advise you how to do that. All we can do is show you the keys, show you the tips that we can provide every single week for you to do, but you have to put in the work. And I guarantee you the work is worth it. It's worth every single penny that you put into it. Invest in yourself. If there's anything else that you do in this life or you don't do in this life, make sure that you put in an investment in yourself to get that growth, to be a part of the change that you want to see in the world. Because I think in society now, we'll see there's a lot of bystanders. There's a lot of people looking and not helping. There's a lot of people who pull out their phones when there's a crime happening, or somebody's bleeding out. Somebody just got hit by a car. The first thing you pull out is your phone to record it live and put it on Instagram. It's tough to see. And I worry for the future. We'll see. I worry for where we're going to be. And I really hope at some point there's something that allows a lot of us to take time away from social media, whether it is voluntary or it's just mandated. I think it's necessary. I think a reset is necessary in order to get back to who we truly are, in order to understand how we can all fall in love with ourselves again. It's almost as though we fell in love with the ugliness of ourselves, and we only use filters and different videos and angles to hide who we truly are, right? It seems like we are going the wrong way, and I feel as though we're going to get to a point where we cannot reverse the work that we put in going that way. So before we do, it's important to you guys, anybody who's listening right now, just take some time this week. It could be a day, it could be a minute, it does not matter. Take some time for you. Eliminate the distractions. Be in a dark place, a room, a basement, the bathroom, wherever, and just enjoy your own presence. Enjoy the silence. Enjoy the love that you are giving to yourself. And understand that if you continue to do this, if you continue to fall in love with yourself, if you continue to define yourself, if you continue to try to understand and establish your own personal power, once you get the strength to understand that nobody in this world can take away the love that you have for yourself, regardless what they say, regardless what they do, you can understand that you are the most powerful thing in the universe because you own the universe. You are your own God. So understand that as you continue to push through and you continue to enhance your self-worth, that this journey is not something that's all for naught. This is something that is going to benefit you in the future. It's going to benefit all of those around you. And you're going to notice that people in your life are going to come back to you and say, damn, you're different. You look so different than when I remember you. You look clean. You look alive. There's a glow about you, right? You walk into the room, man, I knew you were coming before you even hit that corner. That's what you're going to get. And there's no better feeling than having somebody know that they see your self-worth, understand what it is, and then for you, where it truly matters, you now know how much you're worth. So of course we want to turn it over to you, as we do every single week on the Acronis podcast. Tell us how you plan on enhancing your own self-worth. Tell us your journey. Tell us where you started. Tell us where you are now, and tell us what you have planned for the future. The best response will get a feature on the next episode of the Acronis podcast, and you will also get 50% off of anything in the Acronis Fitness store.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that. We'll help kickstart you appreciating yourself. This is our way of contributing our love to your self-worth and your self-love for you.
What an episode. We'll see. I there's so many things that are still left unsaid about our society, but I know for us as individuals, we have the power to change. We have the power to eliminate distractions. We have the power to enhance our own self-worth. There's nobody else out there that should be able to drag it down or even lift it up for that matter. It is all up to you. So all of you guys out there, all of you gals out there, we want to thank you for listening to the Acromas podcast, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. If you're watching our faces and you did not do this at the beginning of the episode, then we're going to have you do this right now. But before we do, I'm going to need to spell something out for you once again, because I know it's been a little while, but your ears need to hear it. ACHROMOUS. You know where you can hear us, and here's where you can see us because you're looking at us right now. And I need you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell on YouTube. So the next time that you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed and you're looking for an episode to help you enhance your own self-worth, episode 118 of the Acromas podcast will be sitting there waiting for you. And most of all, we'll see.
You didn't know by now. You said it in the beginning, you say it again. It's free to do so. So why not show some love? Look, hey, if you went through this whole entire episode and you got to this point, you haven't done it, ask yourself, why not? If you're going to take away some of the gems that help better yourself, show us some love so we can help someone else grow and learn as well, too. We appreciate you for that. You're valued. We don't take you for granted. So please give us some of that love back. As Jay said so kindly, could you like our content, subscribe to it, turn on the notification bell? Would you mind sharing it as well? Because each one teach one is what we're about. We're trying to bring that into existence and make that a reality, something that we can all benefit and learn from together. And if you really enjoyed any part or any segment of this conversation, you want to keep that part of it going alive and well, let's pick this conversation up by commenting below. We appreciate you. You matter.
100%. We'll see. And this week, I personally, I'm giving our listeners, will see, an opportunity to be selfish, an opportunity to be selfish. Focus on yourself this week, guys. Focus on yourself. Figure out a little bit more about yourself, not your profile picture, not the comments, nothing, only yourself. Until next Sunday, it's your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
We'll see.